Welcome everybody to Hardcore Heroes, and good morning. How are you guys all doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, you were pretty late to the call, Sean. We were wondering what
Yeah.
happened to you.
I might have stayed up until like 4 in the morning watching Harry Potter last night. You know, things happen.
Watching Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Was it
Not
like
even
a
a good film
marathon?
then.
No, it's just the first film. We started pretty late.
Oh.
Yeah, the first one is one of the weaker ones. They get really shitty toward the end, and the first one's pretty mediocre, but the second and third are pretty good.
I think the first one is pretty good for kids, or at least
Yeah.
kids to start the series because it still has this magical feeling and this. It's not
Isn't the
dark
sorry, go on.
like the later ones.
Yeah. I liked the they had a good mix of them in 2 and 3, and then it got really dense in the later ones, and they just couldn't cover everything very well, and it got kind of weird for people who hadn't read the books. Was the issue with the late ones.
Isn't the acting just really shit in the first one?
Yeah.
Like really bad.
When I was
Sorry.
in Vietnam, I tried to, having never read any of the Harry Potter books, I decided to sit and watch all the movies, not, back to back to back, but try and get them all in a week. And I couldn't do it. I got to like the fourth
Really?
or fifth one, and I just had to stop because my eyes were bleeding. It was the worst thing ever.
Oh god, you would have died at the ending, I think. Like I enjoyed the series up until the end, but oh my god, the epilogue was it was terrible. It was like the Naruto ending. It was basically that. It was almost exactly the same.
Well,
Except Naruto was terrible pretty much the whole way through, whereas Harry Potter, you had a little bit of like, I'm excited to see what happens here at the end, and then it's
I think Naruto was okay, not the anime, but manga.
I don't read manga. Say.
I feel like I'm the only person in this entire show, including Chad, that probably doesn't watch anime.
yeah.
We'll get you into it.
Naruto had its moments. It had its moments.
I watched it recently. It is really fun in a cheesy way when you get lines where he's like explaining how they threw the fake shuriken at Zabuza. He's like, then there were 2 shurikens. One was real and the other was me. And it's something special.
Meat sauce. Anime is trash.
Well,
No, I agree.
it's good to hear that you're using your time well, Sean. When do you go back to school?
I'm in school. It was a Friday
It's
night.
already-
I can do whatever I
already
want.
Already back. Okay.
Been in the dorms for a while.
Well, Max, what about you? What's been up this last week?
Well, I've been to a school party, like a introduction party, and it was boring. Like I didn't even go inside. People already going out.
Oh, you
But
didn't.
yeah, before that, I was in a classmate's house and we played beer pong. That was fun. No
Nice.
problem with that. And
How
yeah,
American.
Was it your first time playing beer pong?
nope.
No. Okay.
I've been to Tomorrowland and I played beer pong there. You know Tomorrowland?
Nope.
It's a very big electronic music festival in
Oh.
Belgium.
Yeah, I've heard of
The
it.
biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's fun.
What about you, Bastion? What's your week
Well,
held for you?
I played some Guild Wars 2 after a long time, and really noticed why I like it so much more than WoW. I played some Divinity Original Sin 2 in the alpha stuff.
Ooh, how is that? I love the first game, so tell me.
Yeah, me too.
It is an alpha, so they don't have voiceovers, character dialogues between each other are missing, but it's so beautiful.
All right.
And you see what it will become.
Honestly, I played the game back when it was in beta originally, so there was no voiceover dialogue back then, and it was really jarring when I first played it with the voiceover.
What is the new dynamic music system like? Is that in the alpha yet?
Yeah, it's nice. So if your character does a kill or a great kill in combat, the music completely changes to your instrument. Or if you, I think, for example, you persuade someone. I didn't hear it, but it could be that it appears in social interactions too.
So So just like the music in the background flows naturally into a different tone or something?
Yeah, you have your theme and then the music starts with your instrument.
Nice.
Also, the spells, they changed quite up the animation. I think they maybe took inspiration from the Avatar, Last Earthbender, because the spells are now really with kind of those moves. For example, if you shoot a lightning bolt or sparks, your character does such a move and then like this, shoot them out of your fingers. Really
Sounds
nice to look at. Or the boulder in the first game, it just fell from the sky, and now you raise it from the ground and throw it at the enemy.
I'm pretty excited for Divinity Original Sin 2. But
Yes.
I'm trying to avoid the alpha and the early releases because I loved Divinity Original Sin so much that I want to hop into Original Sin 2 when it's done, and I've been trying to avoid the spoilers, but I'm really interested in the dynamic music system. It sounds super cool.
You still can murder hobo everyone.
It's good. Somebody told me that the story gets like darker. Is it like edgy darker or just more serious darker?
Oh, it gets dark fast.
Okay.
Fast. Really fast.
All right.
I mean, you can see it from the beginning, but whoa.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Spoilers. It's okay, Neil.
It gets dark.
Oh no. Yeah, it's
I was just asking about tone, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Also,
Nick.
you can eat your enemies.
I've got a few things to say, right? So first of all, Neil, when you played Divinity Original Sin the first time, that was before I was on the show or anything like that, but I watched the whole thing, and you just stopped uploading it. I can't remember where you got up to, but I don't know if anyone else is with me on that.
Oh, on YouTube? It never finished on YouTube?
No, on Twitch.
On Twitch?
I don't know if I just lost it or something.
I think you did the same thing to your solo Baldur's Gate run. So I remember watching that, and then
Yeah.
I finished my Baldur's Gate run. I think. I finished
anyway.
a Baldur's Gate run.
I know you finished the one with the party, but I think you quit partway through on the solo run because I was watching. I don't remember finishing it.
That shit happens. I'm a serial game abandoner. I have played so many games to 90% complete or 95% complete and then just abandon them at the very end. When everything's about to finish, I'm like, I'm done with this game, moving on. I've played Final Fantasy IV to the final boss maybe 2 or 3 times, but never fought the final boss. I think I beat Final Fantasy V once out of 3 playthroughs. Out of maybe a dozen or so playthroughs of Final Fantasy VI, I've only finished it twice. The others have all gotten to like the flying castle at the very end. Just, meh. Don't need to finish the game anymore.
Or milk, though, thanks.
Hangbound.
Yeah, so on to what I actually did, right? So
Oh, right.
I got a new sofa, which we can all see back here. It's actually a bed. And then
Yeah.
it's from this company called Sophology in the UK. So then you get like one of these things with it, and it's called a Neil. It's a bit weird. It's spelled the same as Neil as well, so that's quite cool.
He's not even kidding.
So now Neil can watch me when I'm not on the show. What else? Anyone watch that Last Chance U on Netflix about the American football high school team? So I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this. Well, it's great. So The Guardian, which is a UK paper, said that it could be the best sports documentary of all time. I'm not a big sports fan, but it's awesome. You know, I think American football might even be better than soccer. Don't let anyone European hear me say that, apart from Max and Bastian. But it's a pretty
I
cool
don't
game.
care about soccer or football.
It's
Yeah, that was good. I went to see Sausage Party, which was farcical but funny, but the last 10 minutes were a bit much. If anyone's seen that. And then anyone knows the company Continental that make tyres? I went to their factory in Wales for a meeting for a couple of days. That was good. For work.
a tire factory?
Yeah, it's a company called Continental. If you Google Continental tyres, I'm sure you'll know them, unless they're only in Europe. But Continental, it's like a horse.
Tires? I've never heard of them.
All right,
Never
maybe
heard
it
of
is.
them.
Maybe
What?
it's just.
Why
They're
did you go
German
to a
company,
tire factory?
'cause we were advising them on their pension.
Oh, okay.
But
So it
why?
wasn't like a vacation,
Thanks, Ron.
like a trip you took. Like I want to go visit the tire factory and watch tires get made. It was a
Yeah,
work
no,
thing.
it wasn't for it wasn't for vacation.
Oh my.
Yeah, thanks.
News quote.
All right, yeah. So that's me. I'm done.
Cool.
I'm gonna open a window. I'll be 2 seconds.
Sure. All right. Well then, where did we leave off last week? Does anyone remember? Does anyone want to do the recap
Yeah.
for? I don't even know how much experience we give for it. It's like 50, right?
Yeah, it's 100.
100.
You should give it to Max or Bastion so they can get some early XP
Yeah.
going for him.
I don't have the XP modifier, so I think I should do it.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead, Bastion. You need it.
Okay, last week Malachi was still with Joris, having a kind of social standoff, while Van, rested in the tavern, or in the inn, and entrusted Darth with the secret of the scroll he found. He decided to leave it up to the gods to decide what he should do with it, and he got the notion to give it to Joris, because it would be inappropriate if he used it himself. And so he did go together with Darth to Joris, and gave him the scroll. After a bit of debating, they came to a conclusion: who gets what. Joris gets the scroll, they get to pick the treasure, and Malachi learned a few spells from Joris. After that, they made the journey back to Shirebrook. Nothing great happened on the way, I think. No. And in Shirebrook, they, reunited with their driver, the carriage driver and kind of servant, who seemed to speak with two strangers, a dwarf and a human male, in the tavern. They introduced themselves as Kain and Morin. They were on the lookout for any signs or information about the people vanishing around the Shadow Mountains. They talked a bit, introduced themselves, and Kain gave the notion that he is a ranger, something Malachi seemed to be quite interested in, because he wants to track down his father. So they made a deal. Morin and Kain will help the two find Malachi's father, and in return they will help the two find what's going on around the Shadow Mountains.
All right.
So,
Pretty good recap. How did you get to where you are now?
well, they hired a ship, or after 2 days, which involved Malachi beating Van up with a stick who could be enlarged, or which could be enlarged.
Okay, can you specify there so people don't get the wrong idea? People are already talking. We live together. Let's.
Yeah.
Malachi found a staff who could be enlarged, kind of like how is it called in Dragon Ball? The
An erection.
Power pole.
the power pole. Exactly like that. So they did test it out, and Malachi beat up Van with it. The whole town of Shirebrook watched. I won't go into details.
Best not.
Thank you for clarifying.
On the next day, they hired a ship towards Whiteshore, and they kept their eyes open to any signs of wreckages on the coast, and they saw something. Van did walk over the water towards it, the coast near the Shadow Mountains. At the end of a river, it seemed to be some kind of parts of a ship or boat, and so they decided to go on land here. and search for any tracks or signs of survivors. That's where we are.
Right. So you guys are where exactly? You are at the base of this river, right here.
Oh, I'm not in roll 20.
Oh shit.
Half the party is not on roll 20. How usual.
Okay. I was about to say, are you really surprised at this point?
It's usually exactly half the party as well.
It's just disappointment. That's what it is. I'm not mad, Sean. I'm just disappointed.
You should know better at this point, really.
I really should. I don't know why it's so hard for me to just like load it up.
It's all right. We all have our shortcomings. God knows I have plenty of my own. It would be hypocritical of me to hold this against you.
Oh no, don't beat yourself up too bad. Like the way you revealed the 2 extra party members last week was unforgettable.
It was my fault. So.
Yeah, you can't really blame Neil too much.
Yeah.
Well, at the beginning I had messed up the overlays and their names had appeared over the dogs.
Yeah, we were the dogs.
For a moment, you guys were the dogs. All right, you guys all see the map properly?
Yep.
So we're not by the river, Neil. I thought we were by the mouth of the river, are we?
You are by the mouth of the river.
Okay, yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah.
This bit?
Do we not have like a little token?
Yeah.
Maybe you did.
Like a
Let me
little
find
felt
it.
it.
Well, I think you've got to drag it. I don't think it's on.
Oh, it's not on the map anywhere. It doesn't exist.
Huh. Can we have one?
Yeah, you can have one.
Thanks.
So what's the plan? Are we going upriver?
Yeah, we're heading towards Shirebrook, right? are we heading
No, you guys
toward
are headed
towards?
up the river towards.
Yeah, no, I meant like kind of getting bearings of the party. Are we going to eventually go north or south?
Well, let's put ourselves in the mind of a shipwrecked crew. Where would you go?
Probably south. White Shore is nearest.
Do you think we've passed the halfway point?
I think.
Yeah, I think we did.
White Shore is nearest, but I believe there's Wemix to the south.
Yeah,
I
you can
think if
circle
you-
around them though.
I think if you go north, there's like an impassable terrain there. The mountains are blocking the path. I'm not quite sure according to the map, but I
Yeah.
think south is the direction you want to go.
Well, Kine, do you think maybe you could keep a lookout? Maybe see if you can see any more washed up wood or signs of any party of
I don't
people
know.
walking through.
Let me have a look at the ground here. Keep your eyes open. Don't want.
I know it's been a long
open
time,
openings.
but perhaps we could get lucky.
Okay, I have a look around at the ground, see if I can spot any tracks. So near us.
Okay, this fire pit is going to be all of you guys.
Okay.
This is going to be your token about roughly where you are on the map.
So is the ship still in the distance, Neil? Has the guy sailed back on his rowboat and are they setting off back to Whiteshore now?
They are, and Van Helsing he still has his walking on water and all that
Yep.
fun jazz.
Well, we've been rowed out, right?
Yeah,
Right.
they all rode out to shore.
So
Something
I
I'm
look-
just realizing now is that this might be slightly confusing to people who are watching the VODs because last week got cut short in the middle of the episode.
Oh, did you not upload them to YouTube?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
So if you were watching and everything stopped and all of a sudden we're reintroducing characters, it's because there was a technical problem, and I probably should have said this at the very start of the show, but it completely slipped my mind. So this is the continuation of last week's episode where Twitch broke. Anyway, let's continue with the game. Bastion, you were saying something, and I've completely forgotten
Yeah.
what it was.
I have a look at the ground to see if I can spot any tracks or any signs of life near the wreckage.
Yes, why don't you make me a tracking proficiency check, please?
Yes, that would be. Okay, look at here. Do I get any modifiers based on the terrain?
Sorry, Neil, can I just say, if anyone is watching this and hasn't seen last week, you should go and watch the VODs on Twitch. If you just click on Neil's
If you want to
broadcast.
be brought up to speed in about 10 seconds, we got some new henchmen for the party.
Well,
And-
we already did the recap at the beginning of the show.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't do that again.
Yeah.
But yeah, go back and watch the VODs on Twitch if you haven't.
So,
what kind of
tracking modifiers? There would be thick brush, vines, or reeds. That's a +3 for you. And that's all I'm gonna give you.
So
See if
I
you
have-
find any prints. But I'll tell. Yeah, just roll that.
So I have a 14 in tracking because I'm a ranger. I have to pass this.
14 or lower.
Oh,
Yeah, because we're doing the.
no.
We switched it, did we?
Yeah.
No, we have.
We didn't go back. So that's a.
Yeah,
that's
we
a
have the original.
15.
That's a fail.
Okay.
No, but he had +3, right? So it's a 17.
Yeah, no, you want
Minus
low.
3.
You want low.
No.
No, okay, +3 to this roll. Right. Yes.
Wait. So okay, are we
No, the
doing your
modifier
stat
would
rolls
still-
or 21?
You want to roll at or below your stat when you make
Okay.
a stat.
So
No,
then
the-
then his stat would actually have been a 17 that he needed to roll below, because if his base is 14,
It was a bonus, was it? Not
And
a
he
bonus.
was right.
Yeah.
Then
Okay.
he passed. Yeah.
so you pass. You look around and you are pretty sure you would spot any tracks in the soft riverbank and all the underbrush here, but you don't see any meaningful tracks of any kind. Maybe there's some little bird prints, maybe the print of an alligator or something, or a crocodile, but no human prints, no humanoid prints of any kind.
Kine, do you see anything?
No tracks, only from a few animals. It seems like the wreckage or whatever it came from did not land here. Any
Maybe
survivors.
we could try and find the rest of the wreckage then.
It may have sailed further down the river,
Well,
Yeah.
down the coast, you mean?
the coast as well.
Well,
We could, since we're already at the base of the river, we might as well go up the river.
Hey, Neil, which way does the current? I assume the current goes from the river into the sea.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, it probably did go further down the coast then.
Looking at the water, Neil.
Yes.
Does it look like something crashed would wash down the coast or up the coast back towards Shybrook?
The ocean currents head southward here.
Okay. So maybe they crashed further up then.
Hmm.
If this piece of
We
wood got
sailed
washed
from
down.
further up.
Hmm.
I think if
That's
they
true.
crashed further up north, I think we would have seen it. It's possible they just drifted further south.
Yeah.
Could be that the wreckage. Well, the wreckage looked like it, but down the river, maybe. But it did lie at the river's end. So maybe if we go up the river or follow the river, we will find further wreckage.
Is this
Neil, is
river
there
big enough for Malachi's father's ship?
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's
Yeah,
wide
pretty-
enough.
Okay.
Oh, really?
In
Is
theory,
Neil,
a
is there
ship
any-
could sail up the river.
How
How
big
big
is
are
it?
How big are the trees around here, Neil?
Normal tree size.
I'm going to climb up a tree.
You do
Using
realize
my
if you
spine.
climb into the trees, you're only going to be able to see more trees.
Maybe. Does the tree line go all the way up to the coast? Like to the very edge
More or
of the coast?
less, yeah.
I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to climb up the tree.
All right. You guys all watch as the wizard climbs a tree.
Well, haven't that the wizard climbing a tree?
Can you make me a strength check, Malachi?
I have spider climb.
Malachi, please don't die.
Oh, you do have natural spider climb from your
Okay.
robe, don't you?
Yes.
So he
I
just
shall
Spider-Man's up.
I shall climb the tree.
All right, you climb the tree. So you guys watch the wizard climbing the tree, and at first, you're all ready for it to be this hilarious thing where the wizard can't get in the tree. But then he just, puts his hands on it and, geckos up the tree in a surprisingly creepy manner, I would expect.
Yeah.
And before there's some sort of horrible spider in here that one-shots me.
A tree spider appears.
Yeah.
Knowing Neil, there will definitely
Yeah,
be
I
something
know.
here.
There's got to be something up here.
All
He's
right,
looking in the manual right now.
you have climbed the tree.
Okay. I try and look around.
Well, you're next to the coastline, so you can see out into the water quite well.
Mhm.
You can see up the coast. You can see down the coast a little bit, but not too far because there's that little peninsula that juts back out. And then looking inland, you see branches and leaves, and
Can it?
So, is there
She's on-
anything unusual that I see, like anything that might allude to what we're
you
trying
see a
to?
dwarf.
My dwarf, or yeah,
You don't own him,
Well,
God damn it.
so I climb back down. Yeah. So I climb back down.
You're in game.
Well, I don't see any signs of a campfire. I don't see any more wreckage of a ship, although my vision to the south is blocked by the peninsula.
Do goblins
Perhaps.
use campfires? I don't know so much about them and their culture, but it would be good to know if any are nearby.
I'm sure there's goblins nearby. They say that you're never more than 5 meters from a goblin in these woods.
I notch an arrow.
I hear you swallow 8 in your sleep every night.
Ha ha.
Perhaps we should head down the coast, past this peninsula, see if I can see anything more from there.
Sure, we can explore down there, but Malachi, your father disappeared. Nobody found his shipwreck anywhere along the coast. I think there's a good chance he sailed down this river.
You think?
I don't know why he would, but
Well,
if his ship just disappeared and a small piece of wreckage happens to float out to the coast,
You're right. Maybe it
Maybe
floated
I
down
can-
the river. That's a good point.
The war priest is wise. We should follow his orders.
Good.
we can
Good
we can
idea.
explore either direction. We may want to start down the coast, follow that for a few miles, and then
if
come
we
back if
sail
we don't
down
find it.
the river, then
No,
there's a
you
chance
know-
that
Sorry. Fine. You go ahead.
if he sailed down the river, then there's a good chance that goblin attacked him.
Mm.
If they see
You'd
a
have a
ship
hard
that's
time attacking a
going
ship.
down the river or up the river, a good target, a
Hmm.
big target.
Well, if there was a shipwreck here, wouldn't the goblins have taken all the wood themselves? They could just like take all the loot and wood.
That's possible.
Well, we are in a forest. What will they do with a ship? Or
Pull huts out of it, use the supplies for whatever he was carrying, food maybe.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah,
knowing
but-
my father, he's just stupid enough to do something like this.
You know, I think it might be time to go slaughter hundreds of goblins and get to the root of this problem.
Yeah.
Uh.
I think Van might be onto something here. Maybe he did sail down the river.
Up the river, guys. Up the river. Down the rivers into the ocean.
Who said that?
It's been driving me crazy.
We've already had this once before. Look, it's established. Halberds down the river.
Up the river. Against the flow of water.
Okay, up the river.
No, the current carries up the river.
I say we. What? Does anyone know of? Kind, do you know anything of the area around here? Do you know where this river leads?
Well, the way it looks, Neil, does it look like it's going to the mountains, or it would to go to the mountains because the river flows down, mostly down from mountains or other high areas,
It
right?
seems like you're making a lot of good logical leaps, and I will not confirm or deny any of them because you are not from this area. You're from north in the Shirebrook realm, but I mean,
So does he not know local history of this area?
this is beyond the local history would be north of the mountains. This is the Goblin Woods. These are uninhabited, unknown, untamed, wild lands that are part
Well,
of like.
Have I read anything about these woods, Neil? About perhaps anything significant about this river?
There's goblins in here, and it's dangerous, and the whole area is cursed by the Shadow Mountains, so fuck off and don't come back, is generally what people say about this region.
Well, Malachi, what I can say from my knowledge, the river mostly or with a high chance would flow from the mountains, so it would lead there.
Yeah, but if my father was sailing up this river, he's doing it for a reason. He wouldn't just risk his life sailing up here for nothing. And even if he is dead, perhaps there's something interesting to find.
We should be careful.
But do so cautiously.
Thank you.
Van, what do you say?
Yeah, let's go. Are we up the north side or the south side of the river?
Right now you're on the north side of the river.
How wide is it, the river, by the way?
Like 30 yards, 30 meters across.
Okay.
Perhaps more, and this has something to do with your missing friends as well. Or at least we may find
Maybe.
some clues here.
Maybe, but why would he sail down this place?
up this
Up.
place? I don't know about If he did, I'm sure he had a reason. He's known to do some pretty crazy things.
All right, are you guys gonna set off?
Yeah, before
so.
I was gonna bring this up a few minutes ago. Could he not climb a tree that tops the canopy to try and see over it?
Most trees kind of, are usually the same height. You would have to find a very special tree that poked out way above everything else, and that's.
Well, can you?
I mean,
out
if you spend an hour cruising around, eventually you'll find a tree that sticks above, and then you can climb that to the top. But
Yeah,
even if you did that, you would then just see more trees.
Yeah, but I might have a better chance of seeing smoke or something. I mean, if there's a particularly big tree along the river, I'll.
That said, you would have seen smoke from the ship when you had a better view from out across the top of the forest.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's set off.
What's our marching order? We should figure that out.
I'm
Good
invisible,
job, Max.
so
Well, I think Kine should be in front, checking for signs of goblins.
Hmm.
And
Why don't you accompany me in the front? I don't feel too comfortable alone
yeah,
and vulnerable.
Morin, would you care to take up the back?
Sure.
I'll walk along the side, make use of this invisibility, come crashing in from the flank if anyone tries to attack you.
So I think we're going Kine, Van, me, and the dogs, and then Morin at the back in sort of a T shape.
Cool. So off you set up the river.
Neil,
Yes.
while we walk, can I check if I find any eatable berries or similar at the river's edge?
Yeah. I will let you know if and when you encounter any of these things.
He's checking for signs of goblins or other.
No, I have no rations.
No, as well though, right? You are keeping an eye out for signs of goblins.
Yeah.
No. He's just looking for berries. You said it.
Oh, right, rations. Oh, I forgot that as well. Oh,
Jesus
wow.
Christ. You've never been adventuring before?
No,
Look at the
I
size
stick
of you,
around
you
at
must
my
eat like a
forge.
bull.
I
Should've
can
asked
memorize
the
some
same
magic
as
for this tomorrow.
You don't get that big without eating a lot, I imagine, Morin. You're gonna go pretty hungry out here and eat only berries. Van, can you make some of those magical berries for him?
Tomorrow, not today.
Ah, well,
We'll be fine for the day.
get out of luck today. Well,
Magical berries.
Look, I have a week's worth of rations. I can split them with you for the day.
don't you look at my dogs like that, Morin. I know what you fucking dwarves are like.
What? No, nothing.
Yeah, you better believe it.
All right. So you guys head up the river about 5 or 6 miles.
No.
When Kine spots some tracks. These are kind of small but broad and slightly webbed prints in the soft mud next to the riverbank. You guys have mostly been traveling along the riverbank because this is, untamed wild. So there's the foliage and the undergrowth is so thick that it's difficult to travel through. But if you walk alongside the river, you can make pretty good progress.
So I take a look at these. They sound like lizard.
Wait.
Kine, what is these tracks? They look like lizard men to me.
I whistle for one of the dogs. Come here.
Yeah, okay. And let one of them go over.
Yes,
They're
ma'am.
webbed, Malika. I'm not sure if those are lizard men.
Really?
And
I don't think
I let the dogs sniff the tracks here. Do you?
These dogs are not bloodhounds. They will not be able to follow the tracks.
Yeah. I do want to eat lizard men though. Van, do they not have webbed feet?
I don't think lizards have webbed feet now.
Where are the tracks going, Neil?
They come down the river a little bit. Maybe 50 feet in front of you, they veer off and head into the woods.
How only tracks of one person or one creature or many?
It looks like a pair.
Looks like 2. I've seen them before, but this could be goblin tracks.
Can you roll a check, Neil, to find out? Or not?
He has the information that he needs.
Okay.
Maybe these are some sort of frog people. Webbed foot.
Yeah.
Bullywugs are frog people, aren't they?
Bullywugs, yeah.
No. These are not frog people. Definitely not.
What makes you say that?
I know the difference between frogs and goblins. Goblins have a bit more humanoid feet, and look at these. I show them a few specifics of the tracks. These are not frog people or lizard people. These are goblins.
Well, what do you say, Van? We sneak up on their camp, or should we try and move past it?
We don't know what they want. It looks like a pair, so maybe they were going fishing, or
maybe they've come to collect water and take them back to their camp. Yeah, these tracks might lead us to them.
We should be careful. We can't go too fast, or we will lose sight of the tracks.
It may be safer to get the jump on them rather than let them find us.
Yeah, let them crash in from behind. Perhaps you're right. At the very least, we could scout it out.
Where are the tricks leading? Up the river or in another direction?
The tracks go. They go up the river for like 50 feet, and then they veer off and head north. Well, not north, but perpendicular to the river.
Where do they come from?
Perpendicular to the river. 50 feet in front of you.
They come from out the river, right?
Yeah. No. They come. It's tracks coming out and then back.
And then up and then back in. Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely, someone was here to get something from the river.
Yeah.
Okay,
Maybe just water.
If it was water, why would they move 50 feet back up the river and then turn back into the woods? Maybe they were collecting something washed up on the side of the river. Supplies, perhaps. Wood.
Good idea. Neil, are there any bushes or any something that you could gather at the side of the river?
Nothing that looks valuable to you, but none of you have an herbalism checks proficiency, so you wouldn't really know if any of these were.
Nothing with any berries or.
No berries.
I think we should follow these tracks. Maybe I'm right. Maybe they found some debris of my father's ship, or maybe one of his men stranded on the river or something like that, and took him back to their village.
So Neil, occasionally, while we're walking down this river, Van wants to dunk it because I cast water breathing when I first came up. I want you to just kind of poke Van's head underwater and see if he can see anything lying at the bottom.
Yeah. Actually, so if you've been doing this all as you're walking along, you have seen other bits of clearly like planed wood, small chunks of it that have been broken off of something that have kind of embedded themselves between some rocks or stuck in the mud somewhere.
Is that right by the tracks or just consistently?
No, just occasionally. You've seen maybe two pieces as you've taken like the 5 miles up this river.
Right.
And then it's not near the tracks.
Neil, do I know enough about ships maybe to make a call as to whether a ship could lose that amount of wood without just being like, and still be able to sail? Or
it really depends on where the wood came from.
Okay, so it's possible that the ship could still be intact and could lose these few pieces of wood.
Yeah.
Malachi, we should continue up the river for now, and I can continue to look underwater, and if I stop seeing pieces of debris, we can come back for these tracks.
How long does your water breathing last, Sean?
I think it's 6 hours right now.
Oh, shit. Okay. How long does your water walking last?
An hour. I think it might have worn off.
That's worn off then.
I'm just going to literally just walk up to the bank and poke my head under.
I think there's 2 goals here, though, Van. One is making sure we aren't surprised by the goblins, and the other is perhaps they know some information.
We could try negotiating. We are, I think we're rather imposing. I'm not sure if a goblin would want to mess with us.
Negotiate with goblins? Not gonna happen.
We should be careful. If you want to negotiate, it would be best to maybe show them that would be a bad trade if they attacked us.
Yeah.
But
well, let's have a vote. I say we go and follow these tracks.
I would be, we should follow them.
Morin?
Yeah, follow the tracks.
Sure.
Looks like you're outvoted here, Van.
That's fine. It's not like the debris is going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Very well.
The tracks
Let's,
could go somewhere. They will go somewhere and lead us there.
Okay. You guys continue to follow the tracks upriver. Then it veers off, and let's take a look.
But can we move especially cautious? Or
Yeah, so you can take your time and move slowly.
so that we are not easily spotted.
Neil, can I be right back 2 minutes? Sorry.
Go for it if you need to.
Yeah, be right back.
2 minutes later, we are all dead because
Don't worry, Malachi just kind of has like an out-of-body experience. Van just pushes him along in front as a human shield.
Cool. So these tracks continue for a while until they meet up with a large set of tracks. Not a set of large tracks, but a large set of tracks where there's dozens and dozens of them. It looks like you've come across some sort of highway of goblins, if that's what these are.
I
Uh-oh. It's
take
the
a step
goblin
back
down.
behind Van.
Can't see Van. You can never tell where he is.
Oh, all right. He's.
You have no idea where Van is at any given point in time.
Oh right, Van. Where are you?
I'm right here, and then I walk over to the other side of him, and I'm just kind of wait for him to turn the wrong way to face me.
Turned the wrong way. Okay, could you please step in front of me? I don't want to have a dozen arrows in me embedded.
Sure. And I take out my shield, and I just kind of scout ahead a little. I'll probably go like 10, 15 feet in front of the party.
On the other side.
Yeah, so on the other side. Van will take out a shield and just kind of go about 10 or 15 feet in front of the party and just start like, walking in.
No, I can.
So, the tracks that you're following.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
You
The
died,
tracks
don't
you were
worry about
following ran into this highway of tracks, more or less.
Mhm.
There are dozens. There's so many that you can't actually count them all. And they're not in a very wide area. They're in a fairly narrow channel, but there's enough traffic through here that it's all obscured. You can follow the most recent set of tracks, and the most recent set of tracks are heading northwest.
What is the age range of the tracks?
What?
Can I see in what range or how old the different tracks are? So from the newest to the oldest. Can I guess it?
It's too moist of an area, and there are too many to tell. It looks like a well-traveled path, though.
How many goblins live in these woods?
Probably a clan or something, if they have something like that.
Maybe we should be more careful.
Do you, Malachi? Do you know? Okay, well, I can't see Van. Do you know anything how large these clans of goblins are? Did you read anything about it?
I don't know about these specific woods, but I think goblins can join themselves in groups of up to a couple of hundred. I know I took out a large group in the deserts up to the northeast. There was a few different cells of maybe 20 or 30 each. I could see it being the same here. Maybe
don't go over your head. Sorry, but better leave it to the wizard. We shouldn't run ahead and into 100 goblins.
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit vulnerable here, looking around, looking at all the tracks and surrounding us in different directions. We could follow the newest track. They're heading kind of north. Maybe
I think whatever direction we go in, we're bound to find something interesting.
Oh, right.
Do you think it's safe, Van?
No, but I don't think we're safe wherever we go.
Maybe we should head back to the river, though.
Maybe. It might be for the best.
How far have we traveled up?
Either way, we shouldn't stay here.
You've
How far are
traveled
the mountains?
400 feet from the river.
All right. No, how far have we gone up the river, though? Are we halfway
Where the
towards
campsite
mountain?
is on the overlay, on the map.
Okay.
So a few miles.
Yeah, better stick with the river so we're not flanked from all directions.
Maybe we should head on up the river, and if we don't find anything at the mouth of the river, then we can.
Yeah, if we don't see any more debris, we can always come back and find this again.
Okay, let's follow them back to the river.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys notice that with all the dampness and wetness here, you are leaving tracks as well in this mud. And
Okay.
Van, you may be invisible, but as you stomp and little bits of mud flick up, your boots area are starting to be kind of caked in a little bit of mud, which doesn't reveal you to a casual observer, but
Could reveal. Okay.
right, your ankles are starting to become visible.
I will
from
have a
the
spell for that
ground.
tomorrow then.
Feeling somewhat vulnerable without my invisibility spell.
Yeah, let's move further up the river. If we don't see any more debris, we can always come back for these tracks.
Okay.
And when we get back to the river, because Malachi, you still have that mithril dagger, right? Or did you give it to the werewolves?
No, I gave that to the werewolves. So I don't even think he took it. It's just probably lying on the other side of these mountains.
By the way,
Mithril, that's a valuable ore.
Does somebody have
Kane
a
and-
Make
hold on,
something
hold
good
on. Kane and Morin, how do you guys feel about hearing these people casually talk about giving a mithril dagger away to a set of werewolves?
Impressive.
Yeah, I'm like talking about how valuable this ore is. I could make very special armor out of this or something.
Yes,
Oh.
it's a valuable weapon, Morin, but it was a particularly sticky situation that we found ourselves in.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Really?
did you ever run into the werewolves down there? I think they're somewhere near where your camp is.
Really?
Hmm.
Huh. We
Yeah.
should head back to investigate.
I don't know. I think we kind of left a bad taste in those werewolves. Probably best we don't return.
That will be for another time. Maybe when I can. At a certain point, I'll be able to rip werewolves out of their wolf form and back into their human form. Maybe when that day comes, we can
Oh,
go
wow.
explore
That
that
would be
avenue.
I must
But,
say, I heard
does
a
anybody
bit
have a dagger?
about, adventures, but my, you really have encountered the most impressive things. Mithril daggers and werewolves.
Oh, you haven't even heard about the Chimera.
Oh, I heard about
Chimera.
Yeah.
That one attacked Mr. Rapids a while ago.
So, as you guys walk up the river, you get another regaling of the
before we
Chimera.
before we go up, does anybody have a dagger?
I have a few.
Can you
Show
carve an
my
X
5
into one?
daggers I have here.
Can you carve an X into one of the trees just in case we can't find the tracks later?
Sure thing.
Kine, how many of those daggers do you have?
5.
Could I borrow one?
You have 5 daggers.
If I need to throw some.
Okay, where
I
do
had
you
somebody
keep
buy
your
20
daggers
daggers
on
once.
you? There's
I
5
have,
of them, right? So there's got to be where do they go?
2 on my sides, or 3 on my sides, because I think about has enough room for that, and maybe 2 in my backpack.
Could I please borrow one?
Sure.
Thank you. I shall give it to you back. Give it you back when we return to town.
I had somebody buy 20 daggers once and just have them all in a big bandolier.
Yeah, but daggers are not knives. Daggers are that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was 20 pounds of daggers.
Okay.
Just be careful though, because there are lizard men in these rivers. Or
Yes, we can attest to that.
This is how Van dies. He dumps his head in the water. Next thing, he's missing.
so yeah, we keep going. Van keeps looking through the.
Yeah.
Right.
So occasionally I'll keep putting my head under.
You continue upriver until Van, who's at the scout of all of this, right?
Yeah.
Van, you spot a thing. It looks like a
thing.
palisade wall up maybe 400 feet or so that sticks partway into the river, and then actually in the river itself looks like a watchtower. Not in the middle of the river, kind of on the northern shore, but still out maybe 50 feet into the river.
Can we see it too?
No, this Van's
Van.
seeing this just as like as he gets past this bend where there's a tree outcropping. So he's
Okay,
the first to
so-
spot it and spots it just as it comes into view.
Van kind of uselessly holds his hand up and then goes in a loud whisper, "Stop, stop."
So we stop.
Yeah, there's some kind of watchtower up ahead. I'm gonna go check it out. and I'm
Shuffle
gonna on my own.
a bit more into the trees, away from the visible.
I try
River.
and. Are we still out of sight of the watchtower, Neil, or are we
You
in
are.
sight of it? Okay, I'll wait then.
So Van Helsing, you're gonna approach the watchtower.
Yeah. Actually, first, does anybody have any cloth on them?
Nope.
I have hide armor.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab my winter blanket from my backpack. I'm gonna take it off so I can see it and grab the winter blanket.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try and use it to wipe the mud off of my legs.
Sure, your winter blanket is now muddy.
That's fine. I can take it to a tailor or something.
Why are you wiping mud off your legs?
And then, so I'll do that so that the mud is no longer visible, and then I'm going to move further up toward the
Is that
watchtower.
for real, Neil? The mud would be visible when you're invisible.
Yeah. It's like
When you
if you if someone throws a bag of flour into the air when you're invisible, the flour will settle on you and reveal that you're there. If you were to
True.
pick up a bag of flour, the bag of flour would turn invisible. Magic is a weird thing, and it doesn't follow our normal rules of logic
Actually,
and physics. So these things are nonsensical sometimes.
I reread the rules for invisibility. I think it's only supposed to turn things that you pick up invisible if you can fit it into your pocket or bag or something.
Really?
You might want to reread that because I know I read that somewhere.
Okay, I'll take a look at that sometime.
Okay, but yeah. So Van's just gonna anything you have on you turns invisible when you cast it, but anything you pick up after turning invisible, I think is only supposed to go invisible if you put it in a bag or something.
That would make
I
more
always
sense.
have a big bag.
But
Right.
yeah. So I'm going to start heading up toward the watchtower.
Okay. You proceed up the river 500 or 600 feet until you come fairly close to this palisade wall. As you get close enough, you can see that the land around it has been cleared a little bit. To the right, well, okay, hold on. So before the palisade wall, on the north side of the river, you notice there's this little wooden contraption. It looks like what do you call it, a slough or a slide, like a V made with boards, where one could like dump water and it would run down into what looks like a fairly decent but still kind of primitive irrigation system that then flows into this field that wraps around the outer side of the palisade wall. There is a opening in the wall. It doesn't have a door, but it's, a spot where the wall opens in between, and there's a watchtower built on the right side of that opening that is adjacent to the field. You guys should draw
Yeah,
a
can you
picture.
draw?
Yeah,
the
a drawing
on
would be
both
nice.
sides of the river.
Let's draw a picture. Pictures
Yes.
are fun.
Yeah.
Woo, pictures.
I whisper to Morin, did you mean what you said about the goblins? If we need to talk to them, are you just going to go into some sort of dwarven rage?
No,
We
but those creatures are unreliable. Can't negotiate with those kinds of creatures. Better
Well,
just
if
kill
we-
them.
If we find ourselves surrounded by 100 of them, we may not have no choice.
Well, that up the river, the palisade, the watchtower, looks kind of like a decent camp. I would not dare lightly to just engage such a...
The goblins that I know live underground.
Yeah, to build something like this, you have to be careful.
The goblins that I knew they were friends with this human cleric. He gave them resources and they still didn't have anything near this.
It's not showing up.
Maybe this isn't goblins after all.
Can you guys see that line that I just drew?
Yeah.
If you zoom out,
Yes, I do.
I don't know. It's all
It was like a squiggly line, and then
Yeah.
it vanished.
There's an ass.
okay. Yeah, perfect.
Go-
So there's a river, right? Something like this. This is going to be a crude drawing that's not to scale, so we all
Yeah.
know. Then we've got a palisade wall that kind of sticks into the river and then out, and then up, and you lose sight of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a field. This is all shown on stream. A field that comes out and around like that. This is
Okay.
all
Which
field.
which side of the river are we, left or right?
You guys are on the top side, the north side. So if you're heading upriver, you're on that side where the arrow is.
Like, so we see the field. It
You
looks like
don't.
it's been
Van
farmed.
does.
Okay, yeah. It looks like it's been farmed.
Yes, it looks like an actual farmed field. And then there's this contraption that looks like it's an irrigation system where someone would dump water from the river into here, and then it would flow down into the fields where you have, what do you call it? Like little sloughs for water to spread amongst the plants.
All right. So I want to get a closer look, but Van's going to be pretty wary here. He's going to grab the longbow from his back, which I assume is still unstrung, and he's going to just tap it on the ground in front of him as he goes forward to make sure he's not about to step on like a bear trap or something.
Okay. And there's a watchtower there, and there's a watchtower out in the water here.
And we can see nothing, right?
Right, you guys are all well behind the bend, 500, 600 feet back.
Well,
Okay,
we
so
know
just-
what Van saw, so
We're just waiting. Yeah, we know that he saw a watchtower. We don't know about the field and the irrigation
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get a closer look as to what's. I want to see if I can see anything when I get closer to this wall, basically.
Yeah, you spot. You see that there is indeed a goblin in this watchtower up here. There's a little shade structure over it, and the goblin's resting with his head on his hand and just kind of gazing out into the forest.
If I creep up to right around here-ish and I peek in, can you see that ping on the map?
Yes.
If I creep up right around there, what can I see behind the wall? Is it there like a village?
Sure. So you attempt to creep up on the goblin settlement.
How tall is the wall? Is it like if I wouldn't be able to get close without him hearing me? Like I assumed he was probably 10 or 15 feet up.
It is a 10-foot wall, and the watchtower is built maybe 4 or 5 feet above that. So he's like 15 feet up.
Okay.
And then
I really just want to get close enough that I can see maybe if there's like a village or something behind the wall. I'm not necessarily trying to get right up to the gate.
Sure.
I
As
just
you
want to know if I can see something behind
as
it.
you get closer, you can sure enough see that there is a village behind the wall.
Okay. I'm gonna start walking back then. Trying to step in my footprints as I go back so that I don't leave any new tracks. Like I'll walk backwards and just try and like land in the footprints that I left as I go.
Can you make me a wisdom check, Van?
Yeah. I have pretty good odds with those, but I always seem to fail them. I pass.
So you did get close enough to see, not only was there a village back there, but there was a ship that was kind of beached right around here somewhere.
Okay.
That's a ship somehow.
So I've seen Malachi's father's ship multiple times.
Oh, yeah,
Does it look
same-
like it's
same
roughly the same ship?
Same ship.
Okay, perfect.
Those fucking goblin bastards.
All
And
right.
at this point, why don't we go to our first break? We will see you guys on the second half of the break and figure out what the party is going to do about this ship in the Goblin Village. See you soon.